Field trip. Okay, before we start reading again. So it's just unbelievable that Keck, who is completely optimistic all the time, has managed to not only land a job, but get his cousin hired as well. Um, and the fact that it really softens Ganwar. When he, when I was envisioning him leaning in to the uh, side of the cow, I picture like I've had friends that had horses and they grab the horse by the neck and they lean in. So it's just kind of like a big hug. And I picture that that's what happened with Ganwar and Gaul. And I don't know, I see Ganwar soften. Some of that anger seems to melt. It's still there, but now it's like it's instead of it just being anger all the time, there's a little bit of hope mixed in with that anger. And so we'll find out as we read on whether that hope grows or not. Field trip. The next week, my ESL class takes a field trip to the zoo. Field trip is another English trick. And then, like raining cats and dogs and barrels of laughs, because there is no field and it's not a far trip. It's like the one I took, not like the, it's not. Mm. Next week, my ESL class takes a field trip to the zoo. Field trip is another English trick, like raining cats and dogs and a barrel of laughs, because there is no field and it's not a far trip, like the one I took from Africa. We take a yellow bus when we get to the zoo. We must stand in line to get our tickets. The other kids complain, but I am used to lines. One day in the refugee camp, I stood in line for 9 hours to get a handful of corn. At last, a guiding lady walks us past birds and lizards and fish and butterflies and zebras and elephants. We're looking for animals from our homelands. I see gazelles standing on a low hill. Beyond the fence, I remember such animals bounding through tall grass, riding the air like wingless birds. I wonder, how did they come to be here in this strange cold world? They flick their tails, they cheek, they check the horizon for danger. They're safe here, but they don't know it. We visit the petting zoo with its animals for touching, but will not eat your hand. There are goats and chickens and pigs, a llama and a turkey, but no cows. So we are supposed to be watching the animals, but I cannot stop looking at the people looking at the animals. A class of little children laugh at the pigs rolling happily in the cold mud. Their class looks like our class, or maybe we look like them. Many colors and shapes and words. Of all the things I didn't know about America, this is the most amazing. I didn't know there would be so many tribes from all over the world. How could I have imagined that they would walk through their world side by side without fear, all free to gaze at the same sky with the same hopes? What would my father have said to see such a thing? My brother, what will my mother say? I walk behind my classmates to the next exhibit. But I am not alone. My family is with me, and every sight is something they cannot see, and every hope is something they cannot feel. I carry them unseen as wind is a heavy to carry them unseen as wind is a heavy burden. Their question: all afternoon my belly aches. Maybe I should have eaten more, but I tell myself, but I know the hurt of hunger well. Hunger is a wild dog gnawing on a dry bone, mad with impatience, but hoping still. It isn't hunger I feel today. This pain is worse, one without pity, like an icy night. This pain is a question in my heart. Will not stop asking, why am I here when so many others are not? Why should I have a desk and a pair of fine jeans and a soft place for my head to rest? Why should I have the freedom to hope while my brother and father sleep in bloodied earth? I should not like to take these gifts I do not deserve, and yet I know I will take them. Warm food, a soft bed, a fresh hope. Hold on tight as that wild dog to his bone. Holding on tight as that wild dog to his bone.